This is Tim Holmes, and you're looking at my sculpture called Awaken Human. And it's truly inspired by one of the greatest sculptures of all time, Rodin's Gates of Hell, which reflected a whole lifetime of his work. And I've always wanted to do something like that, that included sculptures from my history. And so in this piece, which is kind of a pillar, and features this one striding, very virile young man on the top, includes 22 different figures in different attitudes of struggle and acceptance. And some of them are helping each other to ascend, and others are sort of stunned or subsumed in their own dramas. This model for a bronze sculpture is one that I created during 2020, during the COVID crisis and the great falling apart of American society in this really incredibly frightening and potentiated year. I put it together without a very specific design, just taking each figure and figuring out a place in the whole that it would be the most meaningful. And I really like the result. Unfortunately, it's so complex, I don't think it can be cast in the traditional way with lost wax casting. It would have to be produced in some kind of technology that I'm not aware exists yet. So for the time being, it's merely a piece for display. It's quite fragile, so I don't think it can travel. But I feel like it exemplifies my feeling that we are in this very pivotal moment in history when not only are we facing the crises of the demise of democracy in the United States and the rise of this authoritarian figure, and all of us having to deal with the trauma of COVID, trying to keep ourselves and our families safe and worrying about the people around us. And as I speak right now, the greatest fires ever in California, which are filling our skies with smoke. It's a terrorizing time, and it's easy for us to become disheartened with where we are. But at the same time, I feel like the times are stirring up the mud of humanity, and we have this wonderful opportunity to be able to transcend our current moment, to be able to realize that, especially with the COVID pandemic, that we are not dependent on just ourselves. We are dependent on each other. We need to hold together as a community if we're going to survive. And this has been very easy for us to ignore all through the last several hundred years. We've built in Western society this idea that each person is independent and can rise and fall on our own. And that's just not true. We are dependent on each other in many, many ways. And the disease, the pandemic, helps us to realize that we need to pull together if we are going to survive. That's really what this sculpture is about. The rise of humanity, being able to climb out of darkness and find a new kind of light, a new kind of future that will give us all hope. I invite you to address me with any comments you might have. I'm very eager to hear what people have to say about this piece, because it feels to me like it is full of a kind of meaning that I can never penetrate on my own. Of course, I have a relationship with each one of these figures, some of which are from some of my famous sculptures and some of which nobody's ever seen before. And in combination, I think it creates a kind of feeling that exemplifies what I was after in the original idea. This is Tim Holmes at timholmesstudio.com.